With match night and Ipswich Town's final away fixture of the year is in North London. Arsenal, the opposition. Mick Mills and Brenner Woolley all set for full commentary from the Emirates Stadium.
Well, there's quite some light show going on at the moment, Graham, and clearly this is another one of those games that's pretty much a free hit for Town in the sense that they're not expected to get anything from it against a side that's almost certain to finish in the top three, have been second the last two seasons. That said, we're looking for an improved performance from the boys in blue. We don't want to see Arsenal having as comfortable a 90 minutes as Newcastle did at Portman Road last weekend. Kieran McKenna wasn't even born when Ipswich last returned from a trip to Arsenal with 3 points. That was back in 1979 at Highbury. So they're looking for their first ever league win here. In fact, they've never won here in League or Cup, the Emirates Stadium, which is now 18 years old. Overall, it's these two clubs' first meeting since a League Cup semi-final nearly 14 years ago now. The Blues winning 1-0 at Portman Road thanks to an iconic Thomas Priskin goal before the Gunners overwhelmed them 3-0 here in the second leg. And Mick, we have to see much more from Town than we did on Saturday, or it could be ugly, this one.
Yeah, without question. I mean, there's no question that Arsenal are a very good side. They're a consistent side, and they are just becoming, or just beginning to sort of overcome an injury problem that they've got at the club. We know Xhaka is out tonight, but generally speaking, the biggest problem they've had this season are injuries to the back line. Well, the back line is slowly but surely sort of coming together, which sort of makes the game even more difficult for us. It'll be, whatever happens, this has been a great experience for the players who are at this present moment walking out onto the pitch. This is a fabulous atmosphere in a fabulous stadium against a big team. You can't get better circumstances if you're a player than that. I know, you know, they're the big boys, we're the little boys, but, you know, it's an experience. You just have to be brave and give it absolutely everything you have. And most important of all, you stick together, you link arms, you fight, and you play as a team. If you do that, we've got a chance.
There is a terrific atmosphere here for Ipswich Town's final away trip of 2024. Just Chelsea at home to come, wrapping up a quite remarkable year for Ipswich Town Football Club at Portman Road on Mondays. The two sets of players pat palms across the halfway line. We've already seen a little West Ham reunion between Declan Rice and Ben Johnson, an England reunion between Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, full of smiles down the tunnel, and a hug between Liam Delap and Gabriel Jesus, reminiscing about days of old at the Etihad Stadium. 5 changes and a change of system for Ipswich Town from the disappointing loss to Newcastle at the weekend. Morsey is banned for 1 game. Out go Burns, Burgess, Chaplin and Harry Clark. In come Luke Wolfenden. He's missed the last 8 games. We haven't seen him since the defeat at Brentford in October. Jacob Greaves, Ben Johnson, who I mentioned, Calvin Phillips also, and Liam Delap back after his 1-game ban. Morsey, incidentally, can play against Chelsea on Monday. It's just 1 game for him, having racked up 5 yellows. Murrich in goal. A back 3, we believe that O'Shea is going to play on the right-hand side, Wolfenden in the middle, and then Greaves on the left. The 2 wing-backs are going to be Johnson down the right, Davis down the left. In between them, Phillips and Kayuste, who we heard from earlier on, that interview with Graham on BBC Radio Suffolk. Delap, of course, will play through the centre, supported up top by Hutchinson against one of his former clubs, and Smodics looking for his 4th goal of the season. He'll feel more comfortable with Delap back in the side rather than leading the line that Sam did at the weekend against the Magpies. On the bench, quite an attacking bench. Walton, Chaplin, Jack Clark, Townsend, Harry Clark, Taylor, the match winner at Wolves, Al-Hamadi, Broadhead, who has scored here in the past for Sunderland, and a League Cup quarter-final, Nathan Broadhead, and Burns. 1 change forced upon Mikel Arteta, who's just celebrated 5 years in charge of the Gunners. Bukayo Saka is out for a lengthy spell. Wonder if he'll make Thomas Tuchel's first England squad in March. Certainly out for a while because of a hamstring. Thomas Partey, the Ghanaian international midfielder, drops to the bench. In come Declan Rice back into the engine room, and Trossard is picked to replace Saka in Arsenal's front 3. Raya is their keeper, the Spaniard. Got a back 4 of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and the 18-year-old Lewis Skelly. The 3 in midfield, Odegaard, the captain, what a player he is, Rice and Havertz. Jesus will lead the line through the middle with Trossard and Martinelli either side of him. On the bench, Neto, Jorginho, Kivior, Marino, Calafiori, Tierney, Nwaneri, another very highly rated young player here, Ethan Nwaneri, Arsenal's youngest player when he made his debut at 15 a couple of years ago. Zinchenko and Partey. It's Ipswich Town. The blue shirts with the white pinstripes, white shorts, blue socks, kicking off, playing from right to left against Arsenal in their traditional red-bodied white sleeved shirts with white shorts, red socks. Game 18 of this Premier League season is underway at a boisterous Emirates Stadium. Long kick forward from Wolfenden, maybe a chance to edge of the area for Town to force the issue early on, given away by Arsenal. Kayuste back to Phillips. They played well as a pair at Brentford. Out to the left hand side, Davis, early chance into the box, it comes for Town, across the face of goal. It will be cleared away by Gabriel, but that was a chance. Anybody at the far post would have had a tap in after 20 seconds on the halfway line here at Arsenal. How do they react to that? Sloppy by their standard start, but good play from Ipswich Town, causing problems early on. On this right hand side, Martinelli, the number 11, the Brazilian, up against Leif Davis. Davis holds him up. Martinelli squeezes his cross deep to the far stick. Lively start, well headed away by Ben Johnson back in London. Played back by Lewis Skelly to Gabriel, the Brazilian at centre half. Infield to the England man Declan Rice, his second season, having won the Europa Conference League with West Ham. Martinelli on the right, both sides having a go inside the first couple of minutes. It's been end to end. Here is Urian Timber getting a run at right back in the absence of Ben White. Raheem Sterling also missing at the moment for the Gunners. Arsenal down the left hand side with Trossard. He's playing on the left, Martinelli on the right. Slight switch to what we expected. Here is Lewis Skelly back to Gabriel. Arsenal with a bit of possession after that early half an opening for Ipswich Town. Bright start that from Town, Mick.
Yeah, it was a good start. Leif Davis's cross took a slight defection, but I still feel that Liam Delap should have got on the end of it and would have been a very, very fast opening goal. But since then, Arsenal have got possession of the ball and doing what they're very good at, and just keeping the ball.
There's the number 49, Lewis Skelly. A switch of play from Rice out to this right-hand side, controlled by the orange right boot of Martinelli. Ball into the area, looking for Ødegaard. Ødegaard wins it back well, the number 8. Back it goes to Timber on this near side. We're in League of Nations, this Arsenal side, as many are in the Premier League. Ødegaard thinks the ball down the right channel inside the Ipswich Town area. Miscontrolled by Havertz, but he gets it in the second attempt. Has to be volleyed away by the skipper, Dara O'Shea. He's got the armband in place of Sam Morsey. Ødegaard throws the ball to Havertz. Ødegaard, edge of the area, intercepted well by Kayuste. Smodics goes to ground. Arsenal give it away. Havertz up towards Delap. Delap clattered into from behind, clumsy by the German. Free kick to Ipswich inside their half. The referee, incidentally, Darren England, who did Ipswich Town's win at Tottenham back in November, if you want an omen.
We just needed to win the ball there and to win the free kick just inside our own half. Now, as a team, we can get right up the pitch because we were beginning to get penned in by Arsenal.
Looking back at that chance inside 30 seconds, it was a real opportunity for Sam Smodics, actually. He didn't get anything on the ball at the near post if he had. Raya could have been troubled. What a start that would have been. Long punt forward from Greaves, the number 24. Way off to our left-hand side. We're almost looking along the edge of the penalty area of Aro Muric in this first half. We're a long way away from David Raya, off to our left in our commentary position, low down here at the Emirates Stadium. 3-0 it was to Arsenal last time we were here in that second leg of a League Cup semi-final. Telescopic right leg from Martinelli goes out, but not long enough quite to control the ball down in front of us. Leif Davis with a throw-in for Ipswich. On watches rather studiously Mikel Arteta, way off to our left-hand side. Kieran McKenna, the Ipswich manager, down in front of us, talking about these two games, Arsenal-Chelsea, to be relished in this journey Ipswich Town have been on. On the halfway line, Arsenal have the ball back with Lewis Skelly. Heavy touch there by Saliba. Delap barges into him. Referee blows his whistle against the Ipswich Town striker. Free kick to Arsenal inside their half of the field. 1984, the last time Ipswich Town took 3 points off Arsenal. That was at Portman Road. Russell Osman and Romeo Zondervan, the goal scorers on that occasion. They haven't won league points in this part of the world since 1979. It was Alan Hunter and Arnold Muren The goal scorers at Highbury on that occasion for Ipswich Town. Here is Raya. He's played against Town for Blackburn in the past. Straight downfield from him. Dealt with by Wolfenden. Picked up in midfield wide by Jesus. The Brazilian wants it back. Cut out by Wolfenden. A couple of important touches from him, but then he gives it straight to Rice. Rice to Ødegaard. Ødegaard wide right to Martinelli. 0-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Martinelli's got a good cross into the box. The flick header up behind by Wolfenden. Needed to be made. First corner kick goes the way of the Gunners.
Yeah, it was a very, very good cross. It's interesting that they've gone for Martinelli, who normally plays down the left, to play down the right in Xhaka's absence. Totally different player than Xhaka. Xhaka all left foot, Martinelli all right foot, and he's just touched the ball down the outside of Leif Davis, and he stood the ball up over the top of the goalkeeper, and it was a dangerous cross.
Corner kick to Arsenal live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Declan Rice to take it, got a goal when he came off the bench at the weekend in their 5-1 win at Crystal Palace. Well, it has to be said, looking at highlights of that game, Crystal Palace did cause them some problems and could have scored more than just their solitary goal. That will give Ipswich Town hope, at least, against the meanest defence in the Premier League. Corner kick to Arsenal. They're a massive danger from these. They're the best team at this level from these kind of set pieces. They've got bags of goals, and it comes from Rice, punched away by Phillips. Out to Ødegaard, miscues, sliced it, passed away by Smodics into open ground. Kiyuste's gone after it. He's just blocked off by Ødegaard. Ball picked up by Trossard, former Brighton player, to the right-hand side. Martinelli up against Leif Davis. Davis does his job, cannons the ball off of his left shin pad. Arsenal get it back to the halfway line. What's to play for? Arsenal win this. They're up to second after Chelsea's defeat yesterday. Nottingham Forest currently third in the table. Remarkable season they are having. On the halfway line, Arsenal have it with Gabriel. He and Saliba know each other's games so well. Out to the left, Trossard trying to take on O'Shea. Definitely playing to the right of that back three, the standing captain. Another throw to Arsenal. Lewis Skelly. He was the player that was booked before he even made his debut against Manchester City early on this season for a little bit silliness on the touchline. The quiz question of the future, particularly if he goes on to fulfil his potential. Arsenal on the left-hand side with Trossard. Wants to cross from his right boot, so he's always going to check back. Back the ball goes to Gabriel. Infield, it's now the number 2, Saliba, the Frenchman. Gabriel down the far touchline to Lewis Skelly. It's his third Premier League start. The 18-year-old was held up there by Ben Johnson. Free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, we're doing okay, but we are sort of guilty at the moment of being really sort of pinned back in big numbers, and I mean, you know, all the outfield players are sort of ending up very, very deep, and Arsenal are enjoying the situation at the moment.
There's a banner over the far side, obviously referring to the Invincibles season of the late 1990s. Played 38, won 26, drawn 12. No defeats under Arsene Wenger. They have won the title 3 times in the Premier League era, Arsenal. Arsenal with a free kick, terrible from Ødegaard. Intercepted easily by Smodics as he's trying to play it around the back of him and be a bit cute rather than a floated ball into the box. Town dealt with it. There is Hutchinson, who played for Arsenal's under-21s at Portman Road in a trophy game a couple of years ago. Muric, good footwork. Finds Davis near side up against Timber. Timber's going to win the ball, the former Ajax player. Then quickly out to the right-hand side by Rice. Eventually controlled by Martinelli. All the play inside the half off to our right-hand side. Ipswich Town's defensive half. Arsenal on the attack again with Timber. Back it goes to Ødegaard. Still Real Madrid's youngest ever player, Ødegaard. Signed for them at 15, having already played top-level football in Norway. There is Lewis Skelly. Back to the halfway line. Arsenal have it in the centre circle. We're still looking for the first goal of the night. Although if it doesn't come, we'll travel back to Suffolk very, very happy. On halfway, Havertz scored the winner for Chelsea in the Champions League against Manchester City. 11 goals this season for Kai Havertz. Very versatile player. Anywhere just about in this front 6 for Arsenal. Tall player as well. He'll be a threat, the German, from set pieces. Trossard, one of the shortest players on the field. He's got the ball far side, skips in field, plays it to Saliba centrally inside the Emirates Stadium. That it's almost 61,000. Not too many empty red seats around this wonderful North London ground tonight. Arsenal just keep Ipswich Town just keeping men behind the ball. Arsenal seeing the bulk of it, which is what you'd expect. There is Lewis Skelly. Jesus is close to him, too close. He's rolled it back into the centre of the Town half. Threaded ball forward, well blocked off by O'Shea. It was attempted by Gabriel. Gabriel then wins the header up above Hutchinson. No contest there, really. Lewis Skelly skipped away from Phillips, brought down by Delap. The referee said play on. Out to this right-hand side, Timber. Held up by Smoddock. Smoddock then challenges for the ball and wins it. Out it goes. Town having to work so hard at the moment. There is Gabriel Martinelli dropping the ball down for Urian Timber. Twin brother plays international football with him. Timber with a throw straight to Calvin Phillips. He launches it out far side, and it's got to be a throw-in for Arsenal, but there's a second ball on the field, so Timber will just have to hold his horse. It's still waiting for a goal. 10 minutes gone in this 8:15 kick-off. Final game of the Boxing Day round of fixtures, if you like. Most of them yesterday. Here are Arsenal, midway inside the Ipswich Town half. Havertz on the ball, shifts it on to Lewis Skelly, back to goal. Rolls it off to the far side, the Arsenal left with Trossard, shaped to cross. Trying to fox Amari Hutchinson. Again with Arsenal. Kind of barely strung two passes together. All the possession is with the Gunners, who've been top at Christmas the last 2 years. Find themselves fourth currently in the table, on halfway back with Arsenal. Town just can't get a hold of the ball at the moment, can they, Mick?
No, not at all. It's all Arsenal in possession, and as a team we're sort of tucked back.
Given away by Martinelli to Hutchinson. Town have got to make the most of these kind of situations. Hutchinson in field loses it. It's exactly what he didn't do, sadly. The briefest of interventions from Ipswich Town there. Arsenal again with Jesus. 5 goals in his last 2 games. As as he scored in the previous 45, so he's informed the multi-title winner with Manchester City, Gabriel Jesus. Timber gives the ball to Saliba. Gabriel, little flick from Jesus, in steps Kayuste before Havertz could get more than a sniff of the ball. He guides it back to Muric, who clears long. Ball bouncing directly in front of Mikel Arteta, and it's with Saliba. The possession stats must be almost 95.
Just interested when Muric hit that ball long, that I looked at Kieran McKenna and he wasn't a bit interested in trying to pull his players out from defensive positions. He seems as if this is the game plan, just frustrate Arsenal early on, don't give them any opportunities, and just sort of take it from there.
There is Rice being challenged by Delap. Arsenal sweep it square inside their half of the field. Once again, Saliba gets the ball. Ball's inside the Arsenal half briefly. Then it goes long to Jesus. Nice take from the Brazilian, edge of the area. He's inside the box, plays it square. Travel to Trossard. Trossard plays it back to Ødegaard. Nobody's had a shot just yet. Eventually Trossard inside the area. Trossard shoots, deflected. Corner kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, we're a little bit, I'm not sure that we're not playing a perfect back five, and it's being caused because our two wide attacking players are playing well in field, and it means that there's a lot of 2v1s down the sides. It's causing Leif Davis a slight problem. He can't go tight on Martinelli as he would like to, and certainly Johnson is being dragged out of the right wing back position, and we look a little bit stretched down that side.
Town know what to expect. They'll have been working on trying to defend these Arsenal corner kicks relentlessly the last few days, one would have imagined. There's such a threat, the Gunners, from corners. And it comes from Rice. 2 Arsenal players are knocked off the field. It goes to the far post. Trossard with a header down to Ødegaard on the right-hand side of the area. Little shimmy, gets him away from O'Shea. Norwegian still has the ball, faces Ben Johnson, leaves it to Trossard. Deep cross beyond the far stick. Collision of heads potentially between Gabriel and Phillips. Amari Hutchinson being booed by some Arsenal fans. He's in front of the travelling supporters on the far side. He'll be backing him to the hilt. Calvin Phillips has wrestling for the ball over in the far right corner. An Arsenal player goes down, but Mr. England was well positioned. Town lose the ball. Declan Rice inside the Ipswich area. Ødegaard on the left-hand side. It's tucked back. Rice, right-footed, plants it towards the far corner. Headed away by Leif Davis. Controlled by Smodic. Smodic's under pressure from Timber. Gives Mikel Arteta a touch of the ball on halfway.
Well, this makes an uncomfortable watch, really, when we're playing so many players in sort of defensive areas and inviting Arsenal on. But I've seen it before. You just have to make sure that you don't give the opposition any chances whatsoever. And then slowly but surely, you will be able to get yourself in the game. You will be able to get some possession, and you will be able to take the game up the other end of the pitch.
Well, they've got through the first 15 minutes, 0-0 Ipswich Town. Arsenal on the right with Ødegaard up against Smodic. Wafts his left foot over the top of the ball, trying to confuse the Ipswich player. Back it goes to Timber. Now it's with Saliba. Arsenal still having probably 95% of the ball. That's no exaggeration. Town have hardly had a kick in this first 16 minutes. Lewis Skelly to Trossard, but Muric yet to make a save. Arsenal have had a couple of corner kicks. Town with 5 changes and playing with a back 3 if you were with us earlier on. O'Shea is the captain. Ødegaard on the right gives back to Timber. Here is Martinelli up against Leif Davis. Davis has kept his eye on the ball, well defended. Really good play by Davis, and he goes down, wins down a free kick. A little bit of respite as well. Yeah,
I think if Leif Davis concentrates on Martinelli and he gets a little bit of assistance from Smodic on the right back, I think he can do a job on Martinelli quite comfortably. Martinelli hasn't got a natural sort of trick down this right-hand side. He's so used to playing on the left that you drag them over the other side of the pitch and they haven't got the same sort of ability to move the ball.
Muric in the left back area in all yellow, just down in front of us in fact here, getting ready to take this free kick for Ipswich Town. Kosovan belts it forward down this left side, won by Timber, the right back, controlled by Jesus. There is Martinelli nutmegging Greaves. Greaves wins the ball, but the referee's unhappy with his stretched challenge. Free kick to Arsenal. Just when it looked like Ipswich Town might be able to put together 2 or 3 passes on the halfway line. The Town probably had that best chance of the game inside the first 30 seconds for Smodic.
Yeah, no question about that. That was a good chance. He should have made contact with the ball.
And 3 for the season, Sam Smodic. There is Declan Rice, the number 41. Gives the ball back to the halfway line. It's a year since Arsenal scored a goal and lost in the same game. Very few defeats since then. 88 Premier League goals this calendar year, more than anyone else, the Gunners. There is Rice. Arsenal passing it around in the middle. Third, Timber. Feint to go to Jesus on the right. Jesus very mobile, very quick as well as a striker. Not an orthodox number 9 really. Will float here, there and everywhere. Lewis Skelly playing on the far side. A bit quieter now, the Emirates Stadium. It was 0-0 here the last time till gone the hour mark in that League Cup semi-final second leg. Arsenal now starting a motor towards the final third down the right. Havertz and field Ødegaard. Too heavy a touch from him. Poor clearance from Kayuste. Philip Rice's ball is in between Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. Ball goes back to Gabriel. Gabriel stands on it. He's been amongst the goals this season. 4 for him, 2 from Saliba. Great run from Timber. Timber's gone a long way. He shoots straight at Muric. Plenty power on it. Yeah, not a great deal of direction. Straight at the goalkeeper.
When he picked up possession, he didn't have in mind to sort of run all the way with the ball. It's just that the Town players sort of tried to sort of anticipate a pass or two, and the gaps just kept opening up, and in the end it was a big hole through so he could strike from about 25 yards.
Home fans getting annoyed that Muric is time wasting in their opinion. Flags up against Ipswich Town. It's another Arsenal ball inside the Gunners half of the field. They're playing from left to right in this first half. Yesterday's winners in the top flight: Newcastle, Liverpool, Wolves, Fulham, Nottingham Forest and West Ham. Lewis Skelly on the far side. That Ipswich-Chelsea game live on BBC Radio Suffolk on Monday night. It's a 7:45 kick-off. Half an hour earlier than this Friday night kick-off at the Emirates Stadium. In the centre of the field, it's the left back drifting into midfield for a little bit of experience. Lewis Skelly wants the ball back in there. Instead, Saliba finds Gabriel. He crosses halfway down the line to Trossard, one-on-one with Johnson. Cuts in field, Trossard, tripped by Hutchinson. Another advantage played by Mr. England, the referee. Trossard has the ball again, faced by Hutchinson. Crosses into the Ipswich Town box. Davis, good leap to head away. Headed down there by Timber. Rice's nod to the right-hand side. Finds Martinelli. Still in this battle with Leif Davis. Martinelli goes back to Timber. And it's still 0-0. Delap charges into the back of Martinelli. 6 seasons now at Arsenal, Martinelli. One of the longest serving players. Lewis Skelly to Trossard. Trossard waits, gives it back to Saliba, back to the far side. Trossard, corner of the Ipswich area, threads the ball in, cleared away by Wolfenden. Still 0-0.
Well, we're holding firm. It's apart from Dara O'Shea and Ben Johnson swapping over too many times for me as to who's going to mark Trossard. I don't like that swapping over, but we look okay at the moment, certainly down the left. Leif Davis has got his job. He's doing a good job on Martinelli, and the players in the middle at the back are doing a good job as well.
Quarter of the game gone. McMillan's with me on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Of course, part of that Ipswich Town team that beat Arsenal in the FA Cup final 1978 at Wembley. On this right-hand side, Arsenal have the ball with Martinelli. Plays it short to Jesus. The two Brazilians link up. Martinelli comes in field but has to check, goes back to Jesus on the right. First time in from him, intercepted by Greaves. Smodics gives it to Davis when he didn't really want it. Smodics then loses it to Jesus. Jesus, little ball into the box, bit of fortune in that. Calvin Phillips hacked clearance, comes off an Arsenal player. O'Shea wins it in the air strongly. Nothing wrong though with the challenge, says the referee. Play continues. Needless to say, Arsenal have the ball. Gabriel to the left side. Trossard looks up. In comes his cross into the Ipswich area, headed away by Davis, not too far. Up goes Erdegaard, up goes Smodics. Smodics bangs it high into the North London sky. More height than distance, nodded down by Rice. It's Martinelli who gets a hold of it on the right wing. Gets his cross in, looks a really good ball, glancing at it from Wolfenden, drops down to Trossard inside the Ipswich Town box. Great pressure from Arsenal, gets to the byline, in comes his cross! 1-0 Arsenal. Kai Havertz, who celebrates, well, they've had all of the possession, Arsenal, in this first quarter of the game. They finally made the breakthrough. Ipswich Town's resistance is broken. It's Kai Havertz who makes it Arsenal 1, Ipswich Town 0.
Yeah, and it was a very basic sort of creation of a goal, really. We were sort of a little bit concerned about Trossard coming back on his right foot. I think we gave him too much of an opportunity to go down the outside, and he skipped down the outside with comfort and then was able to drive the ball with his left foot into the 6-yard box, and it required just a tap into the net. It actually went very much underneath the crossbar, but that's all that happened. Trossard 1-to-1 on Johnson, goes down the outside, firm ball into the middle. We should not have conceded that goal.
Just had a little look at the stats there. 91% possession to 9% Ipswich Town. That's astonishing after 23 minutes of this game. It's Havertz's 12th goal of the season. It's in the right place at the right time to touch it into the net. Let's see how this game now develops. Ipswich Town behind. Long from Wolfenden towards Delap. Headed away as far as Phillips. Phillips knocks the ball to the edge of the Arsenal area. A bit of miscommunication between two Arsenal players, Lewis Skelly and Gabriel. Arsenal eventually get the ball away. There is Jacob Greaves, square inside his half to Luke Wolfenden. Wolfenden to the far side, and O'Shea. O'Shea played here last season for Burnley. Out the ball goes for an Ipswich Town throw-in. So
It's unfortunate, the goal, because Arsenal we would have taken Arsenal into that sort of period of time where they would have started to get frustrated and then would have had to have tried different things, and that's the you know, the beauty of sometimes when you play a defensive sort of system. But they've broken us once, and it only has to be once.
Yeah, so as I said earlier on, it's a year since Arsenal scored but lost. Ball's out on the far side of the field. The only unbeaten home team in the Premier League now. Their 2 defeats have come at Bournemouth and Newcastle. Last unbeaten in 16 here in all competitions. Arsenal on halfway have the ball with Rice, and seeing a lot of the ball as well on his return to their starting lineup. Hands in pockets on, watches Kieran McKenna. Now he's side up, chasing shadows, just trying to keep their shape and their discipline, particularly in the aftermath of that first goal of the night. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Arsenal on the far side with Gabriel. Now infield, it goes from Jesus, who dropped back to get involved. Lewis Skelly to the goal scorer Havertz. Jesus gives it back to him. Arsenal popping it around 1 and 2 touch stuff inside the Ipswich half of the field. Lewis Skelly to the centre half area, and Saliba was in the Euro 2024 team of the season last summer. William Saliba, 68 games he played for club and country last season. Regular French international. Oh, mistake there, that was dodgy from Johnson. Asked a fair bit of his captain O'Shea. O'Shea's clearance eventually goes off Jesus, but that was very risky from Ben Johnson.
Yeah, he was nervous, he was uncertain. He should have put the ball actually back to Muric early and let him clear the lines, but he hesitated on that one, and then the only available player was Dara O'Shea, and he was always going to put Dara O'Shea in trouble.
27 minutes gone in this game. Arsenal lead 1-0. Havertz with the goal. Somebody who in his career has gone for north of £130 million across his 2 big transfers. Kai Havertz, been a good signing actually for Arsenal. Didn't quite work out at Chelsea, despite the fact he did get that Champions League winning goal for them. That was undoubtedly his highlight at Stamford Bridge. Here are Arsenal in midfield, rolling it around. Now it's with Timber, gives it to Ødegaard, down the line near side Martinelli, still playing on the right. Ødegaard in field to Havertz. Havertz gives it back to Timber, looking up, thinking about the cross. There's only Jesus to hit in there. Timber's kept a hold of the ball, skips away from Smodics, good play. Little ball in the box to Ødegaard, he steps over it. Phillips makes a challenge. Arsenal might win it back. No, Kayuste stretches his leg, wins the ball and tries to play it down the line. He's done well there, Kayuste. He's won Ipswich Town a throw-in.
Yeah, he has done well, but I think our problem is stemming actually. We want Murray Hutchinson to play infield, and we want Sammy Smodics to play infield, and it is causing us a problem down the sides because they can't go through the middle because it's tight down there when those players group in the midfield. But you know, we're a bit short in the wide areas. I think they have to start from a wider position.
Town have passed the ball a few times inside their half of the field. Delap, Kayuste, Phillips all involved. Now O'Shea crossing halfway on the far side of the field. The skipper for the night. Back it goes to Phillips. Phillips rolls it forward, bounces back to him from Hutchinson. On the halfway line it's with Wolfenden. Davis has got lots of space on the near side. Town haven't picked him out. He's very tight to this near touchline. One away from Timber. He's got his eye on him though. Greaves eventually does find Davis. Davis has time to control the ball. Infield it goes towards Delap. He miscontrols it. Rice comes away with the ball. Gives it back to Miles Lewis Skelly. And with 29 on the clock, Arsenal still with so much of the ball. And the only goal as well so far. Second place is theirs if they hold on to this scoreline. Right in front of the manager, Mikel Arteta, of course a player here for many seasons, also played for Everton and Glasgow Rangers in his playing career. Came here from Manchester City, been part of Pep Guardiola's backroom staff for a while. That's where he learned his stuff, quite some education for him. Now Timber goes back inside his half, plays a little 1-2 with Saliba. Then in midfield it's Lewis Skelly in a central area. Confident lad. Now Arsenal down the right with Ødegaard. He controls it. Ødegaard running forward with the ball into the path of Havertz, the goal scorer. Phillips has gone with him. Out to the right-hand side it goes to Gabriel Jesus. Spots the run of Ødegaard. Little flick. Lovely play from Arsenal. Inside the area, Havertz goes down. Nothing doing. Cleared away as far as Jesus. Out as far there as Lewis Skelly. To the left-hand side he gives it to Trossard outside the Ipswich area. Town under some pressure. Some nice play from Arsenal. Back the ball goes to Rice outside the area. He has a go. His shot tips but not quickly enough. It zooms over the bar.
Yeah, well, they're playing very confidently, Arsenal. The two that have got a lot of movement about them is Havertz and Ødegaard. They're sort of the two wide central midfield players, but their movement is all over the place, and it is causing us a lot of concern. I think we've got to certainly sort out, you can't have players everywhere. You've got to designate certain jobs to certain players and just let them get on with it, and I don't think we're doing that. We're allowing people to play in between us, and we're getting pulled apart.
Just one defeat in the last 24 here. That was to Aston Villa in March. Now played that is Liverpool, Porto, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain. Some serious opposition in that time. They're winning this game 1-0. Wolfenden to Phillips. Phillips goes back to Muric inside his 6-yard area. Feinted to pass it. Eventually good ball out from Muric, finding Kiyuste to this near side, the left, and Leif Davis. Home crowd finding their voice here. Havertz, the only goal scorer so far. Greaves can't go forward, faced by Ødegaard. Muric gets it back. Jesus closes down Muric. Muric out short to the edge of his 6-yard area. Wolfenden, good ball from Wolfenden. Picked out a pass. That's excellent from Ipswich Town. Can they capitalise? Out to the right-hand side. Johnson, what's his cross like? Outside the Arsenal area. This has been a really good move from Town. They're best of the game by distance. Johnson squeezes cross to the centre. Up goes Raya, and he catches it under a bit of pressure from Delap, but that was good from Town.
Yeah, that was good. It was us in possession of the ball, and we were prepared to go through the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper did the right things, and all of a sudden we got ourselves out with a lot of space as well. That was the important thing. We weren't sort of tight, receiving the ball tightly in possession. We found plenty of room, and that's what we've got to do.
Arsenal playing it around at the back, way off to our left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Gabriel pushes it into midfield, gets it back from Havertz, the goal scorer. Raya outside his box, away from Brentford at the start of last season. David Raya. Of course, Aaron Ramsdale's now moved on to Southampton. Neto on loan from Bournemouth is Arsenal's sub-keeper, as Arsenal play the ball around at the back. Now Raya gets involved. He is very much a footballing goalkeeper. Got a decision to make. He's gone square. He and Saliba playing a little game of their own about 30 yards off the Arsenal goal line. Eventually to get it to the left-hand side, and Lewis Skelly. Back it goes to Raya, who's hardly been in his penalty area in this match. Arsenal to the far side, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Monday night full match commentary of Chelsea's visit. Chelsea now the only team we haven't seen so far this season. It's game 19 of 38 against Enzo Maresca's players. It's going to be interesting to see how they compare to the other title contenders that of course we have seen, including Arsenal. Arsenal on the halfway line with Gabriel. Passes it to Trossard on the far side. Infield it comes from him to Lewis Skelly. Much a modern fullback in the sense that he's drifting into central areas. Lewis Skelly wide on the left. Havertz, tall lean figure. Infield it goes to Lewis Skelly, looks comfortable on the ball, gives it back to Trossard, far side. Trossard puts a ball in behind Gabriel Jesus. Too heavy a touch, but he's still squeezing over the line. And the flag has gone up, has it? Yep, it has. The celebrations have been curtailed just as the Arsenal fans started to get themselves all joyous. It's still just 1-0 to the Gunners.
Why do they do it? It just confuses absolutely everybody in the stadium. It was obviously offside. The linesman, I know they're told leave it alone, let the play go on, but it just confuses everybody in the stadium. Just put your flag up and give the decision.
They are having a VAR to make absolutely certain that it was offside.
Well, that's just to justify the employment, I suppose.
You're not a fan. O'Shea heads the ball on towards Hutchinson, trying to get the better of Gabriel. No chance. Arsenal throw at left back. Still Havertz goal, the only one that we've seen inside this first 35 minutes of this evening's entertainment at the Emirates Stadium. Another excellent travelling away support from Ipswich Town, as there is of course at all of these games. To the halfway line, such a clamour for tickets amongst town fans, many ticking off new grounds this season. Hutchinson wayward, the referee's blown up already. It's an Arsenal free kick for a challenge on Gabriel Jesus. He's flat on his back on the far side, now being picked up by Amari Hutchinson. Hutchinson, the only remaining Ipswich Town player on 4 yellows ahead of the cut-off point after Monday. Obviously a ban for him, a card for him today would see that he misses out against his former club on Monday. It's so what the referee's going to do here might be an unchallenged drop ball far side. Certainly no action at the moment. He does drop it down for Ben Johnson, who's lost it, and it's going to be a yellow card, is it, on the far side of the field? Trossard jumped in there. Mikel Arteta's not happy.
He couldn't see from where he is.
He wasn't meant to challenge for the ball, Trossard. Difficult to see from way over there whether he got a yellow card. Play continues. Wolfenden gives the ball to O'Shea. Phillips back to O'Shea. Down the line to Johnson. Has Lewis Skelly all over him under real pressure. Lewis Skelly's getting some help from Trossard. The ball squirts out to Havertz. He turns it around the corner to Rice. Back it goes to Gabriel. Havertz finds Saliba. Back to Havertz on the halfway line. Arsenal with Timber. He goes back to centre half. Still, Ipswich Town very, very rarely getting a touch of the ball. So one-sided in terms of possession. Wolfenden jumps, doesn't get anything on the ball. Luckily Greaves is behind him. Arsenal, no great surprise to see them winning it back rather swiftly. Now they've got it on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. So dominant in terms of them having the lion's share of the ball. Rice gets it on the edge of his area, has time to turn and face play. Opts though instead to get it back to Saliba, and now with Raya. That's been a good signing for Arsenal. Declan Rice, massive price tag, £105 million, lots of pressure moving across London. He's very much taken it in his stride. Long ball forward from Gabriel. Yes, up to Martinelli, chested by Davis. Davis up to Delap. Excellent play by the left back. Delap's layoff finds Amari Hutchinson. He's going to glide away from Jesus. Back comes Rice. Rice holds him up. Hutchinson still got the ball. Little step over. Says that he's been caught. The referee says no.
Well, I say yes. I think that's a foul.
He's certainly given Arsenal a free kick, maybe for a dive by Hutchinson, but that did look quite harsh from Mr. England. Not a flicker of emotion on the face of Kieran McKenna. He's still hands in pockets, watching on. As Arsenal have the ball at centre half again. Far side, Havertz. Arsenal again. Can't remember seeing a game where a team's had so much possession like this against Ipswich. No urgency at the moment from Arsenal to get themselves forward and get a second goal. Biding their time. They'll obviously be looking for one. Gabriel and Saliba playing their own little game. Saliba goes long through the middle. Davis battling with Jesus. Comes off the left hip of Davis. Cleared away by Greaves, coming back to help out. Timber's little header down the line is controlled by Leif Davis. Davis skips away from Jesus, gives the ball to Smodics, who stands on it. It's 1-0 by Jesus, and then it comes off an Arsenal player.
Yeah, this is hard work for Town, it really is. You know, they're just it's almost like we want to play a certain system, but we're not actually sort of going through with it. We're wanting to be in other positions. It concerns me, the two wide attacking players where they're trying to play too far infield, and it takes away a simplified situation down the flanks. If Smodics was to work with Davis and Murray Hutchinson to work with Ben Johnson, it would simplify matters so much more.
Delap's hurt himself. Massive big jump upended by Saliba, I think it was. He's up on his feet. He's okay now. The referee wants a word. Might have been Delap's reaction. Concerned about him getting himself in the book tonight. Liam Delap, something I've thought about. Pent-up energy, having missed the weekend's game. He'd be desperate to make amends, and it's kind of the way that he plays on the edge, very physical. But nothing other than a word from him. Thankfully, he's up and he hasn't hurt himself. Player's about to continue with an uncontested drop ball, which Declan Rice has. Final 5 minutes of this first half. 1-0 Arsenal lead. Arsenal have it on the far side with the goal scorer Havertz. Back into the middle. Again, the stretching play backwards and forwards across their back line into midfield. Lovely turn from Lewis Skelly. That was exceptional from the 18-year-old. He's got Arsenal up to the edge of the Ipswich area. Trossard picks up the ball, infield to Rice, 30 yards from goal. He clips it in towards the far stick, headed down by Martinelli, up in the air by Greaves. The ball hasn't left the Ipswich town area quite yet. Martinelli's touch takes it out of the box. He's up against Davis. Davis shoves him in the back. Martinelli's held on to the ball, goes to ground, still squeezes a cross in. No, it had gone out of play. Ipswich town goal kick.
Yeah, it's good play, Leif Davis. I mean, he's actually doing a good job on Martinelli, but because Smodics is not working with him, Sammy Smodics has been instructed to work in the midfield, to concern himself a little bit with Odegaard dropping back into space as well. It's not humanely possible to do everything that he's trying to do. He's got to work with Leif Davis down our left-hand side, down their right-hand side. Otherwise, they're just going to be in between everything and do nothing.
83%, 17% the possession. Swung a little bit in Ipswich Town's favour, but that does kind of sum up the first here. Wayward kick from Murrich. Arsenal have a throw on the far side. 2.5 minutes to go until the interval on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Havertz with a goal after 23 minutes of this Premier League tie. Ipswich Town second from bottom of the table. Even a win today wouldn't take them out of the bottom three. Bottom three currently, the three got promoted. Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton in that order. Wolves with back-to-back wins under Vitor Pereira all of a sudden sneaked out of the bottom three. Throw in far side. O'Shea gets it back to Wolfenden. Back to Murrich. Murrich from outside his area in a central position. Belts the ball up towards Delap. One in the air by Rice. Odegaard gives it back to his right back Timber. First time lay off in field to Saliba. Saliba finds Gabriel. Back it goes to Rea. Interesting to see the passing stats for this first half. Be an absolute gulf between the two, but it's still just 1-0. Infield the ball for Arsenal. Havertz goes square inside his own half. Then gives it to Lewis Skelly. Rice sitting with a bit of time, threads the ball to the centre spot. Phillips straight into the back of Lewis Skelly. Free kick given against the former Leeds player. And that's another Arsenal free kick. Timber gets it short from Lewis Skelly. Odegaard on the right hand side. No, too much on that ball. Odegaard caught flat-footed. He applauds sportingly the layoff from Timber. 44 played. Ipswich throw. Davis to take it. Town have, of course, won 2 of their last 3 away games in the Premier League, as Rice picks the ball up on halfway, going square rather than forward, gives it to Trossard. Havertz in a central striking area. Now he's dropped into midfield. Jesus on the edge of the Ipswich box. Town go back, or Arsenal have to go back towards the halfway line. Ødegaard on the halfway line pretty much is Saliba. Back to Ødegaard. Final 30 seconds, a normal time at the end of the first half. Up towards Jesus, who turns 30 yards out, plays the ball to his left-hand side. Trossard comes in field, gives it to Rice. Delap closes him down. Rice to the far side. Trossard. Can Arsenal get a second goal before the break? The board's about to go up to see how much added on time there's going to be. Trossard into Ødegaard, scoops it into the Ipswich Town area. Can't get the ball away. Out to the far side. Just the 1 minute of added on time to be played.
Yeah, it's very frustrating watch, really is. You know, we're just you know, we're inviting them to do whatever they basically like, you know, and we're sort of like coming from wrong positions all the time for me.
Strange watching this game, because it's just all Arsenal with the ball. It is very much like a training exercise almost. Rice to the right hand side. Ødegaard closed down by Smodic. Ødegaard comes in field. It's all side to side at the moment from Arsenal. Not had too many chances at all in this first half, but they have taken one of them through this man, Havertz, on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Final 15 seconds of the first half. Lewis Skelly wastes that ball. It will be kept in though, wide on the right hand side by Timber. Final chance for Arsenal to score 2 in the first half. Back to Havertz. Back it goes towards Saliba. Kieran McKenna a bit more animated. Gabriel to Saliba. Back to Gabriel. That's it for the first half. Well, Arsenal had all of the possession and they've also scored the only goal. But I guess many Town fans travelling down would have probably taken 1-0 at half-time, and that's what it is to the Gunners, Mick Mills.
Yeah, and I think the manager will take the result as well at the moment, and that's what caused, you know, I feel that we've got a massive problem because we're doing bits and pieces and not anything in a definite manner, which I believe you have to do, you know, because, you know, we concern, if I sort of, for instance, talk about Ødegaard and Havertz, we're concerned about them all the time, not just with our midfield players, but our wide attacking players are concerned about them. When they go from a semi-dangerous position to a negative position, and that's towards the centre halves, just let them go and you hold your position. If they run forward of you on each side of the pitch, we've got a wide centre half that can pick up those runs. So there's no danger if they go forward. There's no problem if they go backwards, because that's where you basically want them to do. You don't have to track them down, and it's because we try and track them down, we get pulled out of position. And the two players for me that are, I think the manager has pulled Amari Hutchinson in to play close to Liam Delap. I think that's wrong. I think we've got to go 2v2 down the sides. Ben Johnson doesn't know whether he's marking Trossard or he's marking Havertz. You know, he's in two minds, and the same with Dara O'Shea. He doesn't know whether to go on the touchline against Trossard or whether he stays in to link up with Wolfenden. There's too many ifs and buts, you know, so we've got to get more definition about us, and then I think you'll see Arsenal become more and more negative. If we carry on like we are, the one thing will happen is that we won't score a goal. Arsenal will most likely score a second goal and win the game. So, you know, we've got to get a bit of definition about our shape. There's a definition about the back three. There's no definition with Ben Johnson. There's no definition with Sammy Smodic, and there's no definition with Amari Hutchinson. That is my biggest problem. And I'm watching them very closely, and I think those players that I've just mentioned are in between everything and doing nothing.
Well, full second half commentary to come on BBC Radio Suffolk. Just having a look at some of the stats to answer my question of earlier on. Total passes in that half for Arsenal, 443. Ipswich Town, 83. Successful final third passes. Arsenal, 130 compared to Ipswich Town's 4. but it is still just 1-0 to the Gunners.
Full second half commentary to come in match night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Post-match reaction as well. We're on air till 11 o'clock. Keen to hear from you. We'll hear from Town boss Kieran McKenna, hopefully a Town player at the Emirates as well. One other match in the Premier League tonight. 15 minutes plus stoppages left at the Amex Stadium, where it's still Brighton 0, Brentford 0. Ruben Amorim of Manchester United, Vitor Pereira of Wolves, Enzo Maresca of Chelsea and Ange Postecoglou of Tottenham, all coming up during our half-time break.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Wayne, haven't we had some great times on the show this year?
Do you have any favourite bits?
Have I had some favourite bits?
How about the time we did this?
Oh, what about the time when we...
Do you remember when we did this?
Oh my hand, no, wait. But when you did the little...
Should we do more of it next year?
You know what? I think we should.
So join myself and Courtney and Darren and Isaac and Luke and Kelly and the team in 2025. Happy New Year!
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
So Brighton 0, Brentford 0 and Arsenal 1, Ipswich Town 0, half-time in our main feature. A full second-half commentary from the Emirates on the way shortly. A couple of press conferences have taken place in the last 24 hours or so ahead of the next round of Premier League fixtures, which get underway on Sunday, although Manchester United don't play again until Monday when they face Newcastle at Old Trafford. Ahead of that one, some interesting stuff from the United boss Ruben Amorim today, just 10 games into his new job, and he says he knows his job is in danger without results. Amorim's endured the worst start by United boss since the 1930s, having lost 5 of his opening matches. His team were booed off after their 2-0 Boxing Day defeat at Wolves.
There's no point to talk about that, to think about that. I'm here, I have to focus on the job. It's part of football to have these difficult moments. I already knew it, that is going to be tough. Of course, you expect to win more games, to have players with more confidence to sell the idea and to work and to improve a lot of things. In this moment, is really hard. Like I said, we have to survive, to have time, and then to improve the team. The manager of Manchester United cannot be never, no matter what, comfortable. And I know the business that I'm in. So I know that if we don't win, regardless if they pay the buyout or not, I know that every manager is in danger, and I like that. I like that because that is our job. So I understand the question, and you can say that I'm here in month. I had four trainings, but we are not winning. So I have that. That is a reality, and I'm quite comfortable with that. We have to fight against everything because our supporters are always there, but they are tired of this moment. We have to expect that any play from Newcastle near our box is going to put the stadium nervous, and our players have to cope with that. So it's a very strong team, very fast, with a lot of pace, with a lot of time working with the same coach. And we want to be competitive and try to win the game, that's all.
Ruben Amorim's thoughts ahead of Manchester United versus Newcastle on Monday. Well, Wolves moved out of the Premier League relegation zone after that 2-0 win at home to United. United playing most of the second half with 10 men after captain Bruno Fernandes was shown a second yellow card. Mateus Cunha scored direct from a corner, then provided the assist for Hwang Hee-chan to double the lead deep into stoppage time. New Wolves boss Vitor Pereira, 2 wins from 2 for him, by the way, was asked what his side had done, which has seen them win both those matches since he took over.
Confidence, a man with confidence can do a lot of good things. If you don't have confidence in yourself, it will be a problem because you cannot express the power that you have inside. In this moment, I think the team is happy. The energy is a positive energy. Tactical situations, we improve it a little bit, and I think the team showed that the players, they have quality.
Enzo Maresca's Chelsea side will be aiming to bounce back from a Boxing Day defeat on Monday when they come to Ipswich Town, a club he knows well, of course, having gone up against Kieran McKenna twice last season as manager of Leicester.
I think all the Premier League games, they are complicated, no matter the other team. You see every game we play, that is always complicated, and you see also the other team that you struggle to beat teams, and I think Ipswich game will be exactly the same. for sure after a game you need to go again, no matter the result. Especially in this month, I think December we already played 8 or 9 games in 25, 27 days. So now it's also important to recover energy and to go again on Monday. And then if we're gonna make 1 change or 2 change or 3 change, we see. Now it's a bit early, but for sure we are going to change something.
We'll hear more from Enzo Maresca of Chelsea in our match night programme on Monday. Another manager who's been speaking ahead of his side's next match is Tottenham boss Ange Postecoglou. Defeat at Nottingham Forest yesterday leaves Spurs 12th in the table and 11 points off the top 4. Just over 18 months into Postecoglou's reign, and some Tottenham fans are calling for change.
They love their football club, they care about their football club, and they obviously, want their football club to succeed. And then they make those feelings and emotions seen. I haven't felt anything but support since I've been here. I still feel that support's there. I'll keep doing, what I think is the right thing to get success to this football club. That doesn't change. The task is difficult at the moment because of our situation, but like most things that are, fairly difficult to traverse, it's only temporary. We'll get through it and we'll come out stronger. Obviously, our league position is not great, but it's super tight, so we're not, we're not that far off it there. Like I said, we're in a semi-final of a Carabao Cup. We're still, we're still in a great position in Europe. There's FA Cup, so there's still everything to play for us this year to make it a season where we can have some success. So, but we need some help. The players need some help, more importantly, and the club's working really hard to try and make that happen.
Spurs home to Wolves on Sunday. That was the Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou. Away from football, defending champion Luke Humphries plays at Nick Kenny tonight for a place in the last 16 at the PDC World Darts Championship. The 2-times world champion Peter Wright is about to take to the Oki. He's in third round action at Alexandra Palace against Jermaine Watimena. The opening match in the evening session has seen Gerwyn Price progress. He's beaten Joe Cullen by 4 sets to 3. Earlier today, Australian Damon Heta celebrated a 9-dart finish, earning £60,000 in prize money, but was knocked out by Luke Woodhouse. The Englishman is through to the 4th round for the first time. Cricket, and Steve Smith continued his revival with a magnificent century as he and Australia's bowlers put the hosts firmly on top against India after day 2 of the 4th test in Melbourne. After ending a run of 26 test innings without a ton in the 3rd test in Brisbane, Smith followed that up with 140 to help the Aussies post 474 all out in their first innings. India were 164 for 5 at the close, so trailing by 310 runs. Smith's 34th test century moves him up to joint 7th on the all-time list in a 5-strong group that includes Brian Lara and Sunil Gavaskar.
You got to have faith. You got to have a bit of trust in what you're trying to do. I've played the game for long enough now to know that you can have your ups and downs. And there's a difference, I think, between being out of form and out of runs. But you just got to have faith that you're going to turn it around, keep trusting the processes and letting go of each ball, as I said before, and concentrating on the next one.
In tennis, French Open champion Iga Swiatek says she doesn't expect the World Anti-Doping Agency to appeal her 1-month ban. The 5-time major winner tested positive for a heart medication in August, but the International Tennis Integrity Agency accepted her test result was caused by contamination.
I don't think there is any reason because I didn't play 3 tournaments. I was suspended, for a long time, and I lost number 1, because of that. I also know how the procedure worked, and I gave every possible evidence, and there's not much, honestly, to do more. So I don't know why, there's no point to do an appeal, in our opinion.
Wales's biggest horse race, the Welsh Grand National, was won by Val Dancer. The 8-to-1 shot held on for victory from joint favourite Jubilee Express in a close finish at Chepstow. You with Match Night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Half-time in our main feature. Ipswich Town away at Arsenal. The second half is next.
Game 18 of this Premier League season is underway at a boisterous Emirates Stadium. Long kick forward from Wolf, and maybe a chance to edge of the area for Town to force the issue early on. Given away by Arsenal. Can you stay back to Phillips? They played well as a pair at Brentford. Out to the left-hand side, Davis. Early chance into the box. It comes for Town. Across the face of goal. It will be cleared away by Gabriel. That was a chance. Anybody at the far post would have had a tap in after 20 seconds. Saliba, great run from Timber. Timber's gone a long way. He shoots straight at Muric. Plenty power on it.
Yeah,
Not a great deal of direction, straight at the goalkeeper. Trossard inside the Ipswich Town box. Great pressure from Arsenal. Gets to the byline. In comes his cross. 1-0 Arsenal. It's Kai Havertz who celebrates. Well, they've had all of the possession, Arsenal, in this first quarter of the game. They finally made the breakthrough. Ipswich Town's resistance is broken. It's Kai Havertz who makes it Arsenal 1, Ipswich Town 0. Trossard outside the Ipswich area. Town under some pressure. Some nice play from Arsenal. Back the ball goes to Rice outside the area. He has a go. He's got tips, but not quickly enough. It zooms over the bar.
Winter has arrived,
Little bit of wintry sunshine out and about.
bringing icy roads
Could even have a few patches of frost.
and stormy nights.
Amber warning from the Met Office.
Perhaps bringing some localised flooding.
As the winter weather takes hold, we're here when you need us.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
Many people are bracing for more extreme weather.
It's likely to cause some localised flooding. The temperature is slowly getting colder, coming down from the Arctic.
High winds and snow damaged power supplies.
Are warned to stay alert.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
Just gone 9:15. We're on air with Match Night till 11. Usual ways to get in touch at full time. 81333 by text. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with SFK. Mick Mills will be at the Emirates taking your calls at full time on 0800 141 2121. Town are behind, second half about to get underway. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and first Brenner Woolley.
The Town team is Muric in goal, back three of O'Shea, the captain, Wolfenden and Greaves, the wing-backs Johnson and Davis, Phillips and Cayuste are in midfield, Delap up top with support from Hutchinson and Smodix. On the bench, Walton, Chaplin, the two Clarks, Townsend, Taylor, Al-Hamidi, Broadhead and Burns. Arsenal, who are just coming out of the tunnel off to our left-hand side, that will have Raya between the posts just off to our right. A back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly. In midfield, Ødegaard the captain, Rice and the goal scorer Havertz. Jesus plays through the middle up top. Martinelli down the right, Trossard down the left. On the bench, Neto, Jorginho, Kivior, Marino, Calafiori, Tierney, Nwaneri, Zinchenko and Partey. Mikel Arteta settling down onto the home bench down in front of us. The TV cameras tracking him. Kieran McKenna out of sight for the moment. It's going to be Arsenal in their red and white outfits, red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts, red socks. Traditional kit basically. Ipswich Town in their traditional blue, white, blue outfits. Town defending the end off to our left-hand side, so playing towards their thousands of fans. Ball given away by Raya, maybe Smodix, edge of the area, now into the box, left of centre. Smodix has travelled a long way, eventually nudged to the ground, cleared away. That was a right mistake from Arsenal, and that gave Town a real opportunity, which sadly they couldn't make the most of.
Yeah, I really didn't understand why they were so concerned on sort of body checking the person who's going to put pressure on the goalkeeper. Then they make a silly pass to the right-hand side, and you could see Sammy Smodix sort of watching and anticipating that pass, and he nicked the ball really well. He just unfortunately didn't have the power to go all the way. If it had been Liam Delap, I think we would have been 1-1.
Yeah, Arsenal would have been in all sorts of trouble, and a lot of people would have missed that equaliser because so many of the red seats, or more washed out red, pink coloured seats, still vacant. Town playing it out from the back, poorly given away, sloppy yet again. In comes a cross behind Jesus, belted away by O'Shea. That would have been another unforgivable goal to have given away from Ipswich Town's perspective. So a little bit messy at the back, both teams early in this second period, which is just over a minute done. Davis wins the ball far side for Ipswich. Infield it comes to Cayuste. Cayuste holds off Ødegaard. Gives it to the right-hand side and O'Shea. Still lots of people making their way back towards their seats. Wolfenden has the ball. Quite quiet inside the Emirates Stadium. All the noisy ones will still be getting their beers and sandwiches. Muric on the edge of his 6-yard area. Nothing he could do about that goal. Plays it out towards Cayuste. He lays it off, one touch to Davis over on the far left corner. A long way away from Murrich, our commentary position in this second half. A decent view of any Ipswich Town goals, though. Raya's directly in front of us at the moment, yet again, miles outside of his penalty box, as he's spent most of this match, it has to be said. Nothing to do in terms of saves, really. Not that Murrich was too busy in that first half, if you missed it. Ødegaard running forward with the ball. Great long run from him inside the Ipswich area. Somebody's going to close them down. They didn't. Might get a second bite at it. Eventually Town get the ball away with Kayuste. He was allowed to just run, the skipper.
Yeah, that we were allowing him to run with the ball, but my concern was that Trossard was in absolute acres of space on this left-hand side, and if he wanted to deliver the ball to him, Trossard would have been in a wonderful position, because Johnson and O'Shea seriously do not know what each other are doing, and there's not a partnership there whatsoever.
Ball dead over on the far side of the field for a Murrich free kick. Of course, at 1-0, Town still in this match. Unlike on Saturday when it was 3-0 at this stage, just gone half-time. That one was well and truly over. Long kick from Murrich, flags up against Ipswich Town. Raya will take the resulting
offside.
free
I was
kick.
waiting for his flag to go up. At least we have a really good sort of angle for that long ball forward there.
Town without a win in their last 13 league games against Arsenal. 10 Gunners wins, 3 draws in that period. Belted away by Raya. Skims off the surface onto the chest of Jesus, who's dealt with the ball very well. Ødegaard early up towards Martinelli with the gloves on. To the right-hand side, it's Jesus down the right wing for Arsenal. Quickly to the edge of the Ipswich area. In comes a really good cross over the top of Havertz. Brought down, shot by Trossard. Deflected by a blue shirt. Back to Lewis Skelly. There's Trossard once again. Little ball into the Ipswich area to Havertz. Havertz holds it up. To the left-hand side, Lewis Skelly controls it rather than crosses it. Infield to Rice. Arsenal toying with Ipswich Town. Ødegaard plays it forward early. Belted away by O'Shea. Delap battles for the ball. Holds it up on the far side of the field. Spinning his man. Delap held up. Plays it into the centre to Phillips. Phillips holds on to the ball. Floats it out to the right. Johnson. The referee's played an advantage after a foul on Delap. Arsenal have just about, now they do have all 10 red and white shirts behind the ball, which is on halfway. The momentum's been taken out of Ipswich Town's potential counter, but at least they're passing it around. Greaves to the left-hand side. Davis checks in field. Backwards he goes to Greaves again. Greaves forward to Smodix. One touch back to the former Hull centre-half. In the middle of the field, Wolfenden. Arsenal allowing Ipswich Town a bit of possession. O'Shea to the right. Hutchinson collects it, gets on his bike, going through the gears, little step over inside the Arsenal area, down the right-hand side, goes down inside the box very lightly. The referee says that's a free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, he just run into trouble, really. It was a great attack. It was the best bit of possession play that we've had all game, and then in the end, Amari just sort of didn't quite know where he wanted to attack the Arsenal defence, and just got a bit frustrated, and it wasn't a foul. It was handball by Amari in the end.
Well played actually by Lewis Skelly, 2 years Hutchinson's junior. It's a decent game, the number 49 on the halfway line. Leif Davis. There is number 6, Gabriel. Back into the centre of the field. Arsenal have it. They're 2 centre-halves once more exchanging passes. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Ødegaard, his first thought when he gets the ball tends to be to run forward with it. Ødegaard plays it off Havertz, then to the left-hand side. Gabriel to Trossard, touches it back away from Johnson. Infield to Lewis Skelly. He gives it to Saliba. Kieran McKenna's thoughts hopefully to come before we are off air tonight on Match Night. Here comes Rice of Arsenal bursting forward down on the edge of the area. It's a free kick right on the edge of the box. His former England colleague in midfield, Calvin Phillips, the aggressor. From behind after Kayuste had a nibble at Rice. Free kick in a good position for Arsenal.
I don't think, to be perfectly honest, I've just seen it on the monitor, I don't think any one of our 2 midfield players touched him. They both tried but failed, and he just bowled over.
7 minutes gone in the second half. 1-0 Arsenal. This Town is still very much in this game. If it goes to 2-0 Arsenal, different complexion altogether. Town's wall is pretty much in line with the penalty spot off to our left-hand side. 5 Arsenal players over this set piece. One of them walks away. Rice is there. So too Trossard, Ødegaard, Timber as well. I think is the final member of that quartet. It's about 20 yards from goal. This free kick to Arsenal, trying to establish a 2-goal advantage over Ipswich Town. Town's final away game in a very successful year. Ødegaard, hands on hips. Got the impression he's pulled rank, the skipper. It's going to be him or Trossard to hit this. Referee seems happy. It will be Ødegaard. Wall does its job. And it will be Hutchinson who brings it away in the left-back area for Ipswich Town. Plays it back in field, wrapping his left foot round the ball as Davis. Rice gets there ahead of Delap. Rice rather catches Delap. He's stayed down. Play continues. Arsenal on the attack outside the Ipswich area. Maybe a chance for Havertz. Little ball into the box. It's straight at Ben Johnson. Johnson passes it to Hutchinson. He's trying to glide away, but he's clearly been held up by Havertz. It's a free kick. And the first yellow card of the night's gone the way of the goal scorer.
Yeah, we sort of broke that attack up really nicely, and then sort of we were on our way with coming out of the half with the ball and a deliberate foul. But I just feel that we're working the ball away from the packed penalty area better this half, but I'm still not sure that we've got our back line absolutely spot on. I think Ben Johnson is he's having a problem as to what his role really is. Does he go in midfield to make an extra player in there, or does he stay on the touchline to mark Trossard? I don't think he really knows.
Wolfenden up towards Delap under all sorts of pressure. Ball comes off. The Ipswich Town striker out for play near side. His dad Rory did get a couple of goals at the old Highbury for Southampton back in the day. Liam Delap, he's on a run of 5 without a goal or an assist at the moment. That changes the remainder of this game, or Town's final game of the year against Chelsea on Monday night live on BBC Radio Suffolk. It's a 7:45 kick-off, far more usual time for football. Long kick forward. Davis is crunched down by Martinelli, who's been blown up against by the referee. Free kick to Town inside their half, and the longer it stays at 1-0, the more agitated and nervy Arsenal fans will start to get. This really wasn't in the script. They'll have come here expecting to be 2, maybe 3 goals in front at this stage. The game almost stitched up. Well,
yeah, without question, the Arsenal supporters will want their team to go on and win this and win it comfortably. If they don't get this second goal, they will get annoyed.
Delap controls it. Saliba gets in there. It's a massive test, this, against these 2 centre-halves for Liam Delap.
Yeah, very difficult.
Isn't it? So they've got a bit of everything, these two. They can mix it, they're quick, they can play, good aerially. And yeah, as I say, they're tough as well. Up winning a header was Gabriel. There he goes just over a TV camera near side for a throw into Ipswich Town. It's still 1-0 after 55 minutes, 55 and a half on the clock. Delap, little shove in the back of Lewis Skelly.
Skelly and Delap are having a right.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
The referee's blown up again for a handball in midfield against an Arsenal player. Long way between the 2 managers, the 2 technical areas here at the Emirates. Separated by 15 yards, perhaps even more than that. Very little chance of a set-to between the 2 of them. Wolfenden stood over this long-range free kick for Ipswich Town. Yet to have a corner kick in this game. What can they do from this long-range free kick? Belted up to the edge of the Arsenal area, headed away by Saliba, brought down by Kayuste. Ødegaard tries to take the ball off him. Kayuste's done well. He's got it back to Wolfenden. Wolfenden carries the ball out to the right-hand side. He's still got it in an orthodox right-wing position. All of a sudden, Wolfenden plays it in field. Johnson, a couple of keepy-uppy touches. Lewis Skelly gets on the ball. Little drag back from him. Needs some help from a colleague. Hutchinson's got the better of Jesus on the right-hand side. Hutchinson's left-footed cross towards the far post. Davis is inside the Arsenal area. Header in field. It bounces centrally. Lewis Skelly clears away not very well. Only as far as Phillips. Phillips has a bang belts it against Rice, comes back towards O'Shea. O'Shea takes it on his chest. Good play from Town. A little bit of extended pressure. The away fans have recognised that as well. Here is Hutchinson. Is this Ipswich's moment? Hutchinson puts a ball into the box, chested down by Rice. Phillips wins it back. Town on top this last 30 seconds at least. Davis, in comes his cross. Might be a chance beyond the far post. No, comes off an Arsenal head in the centre, and it's picked up by Trossard at left back. Back towards Lewis Skelly. Just the sort of thing that will get under the skin of the home fans. Cleared away by Gabriel. Up goes O'Shea. And the referee's blowing his whistle for a foul on this near side. 2 players down, one from either side.
Yeah, this is a good spell for Town. They just sort of won 1 or 2 little situations. They're beginning to pin Arsenal back, of all people, and our supporters are getting their voices, and the Arsenal supporters are a little bit quiet.
Yeah, they are. They're worried. Ipswich equaliser certainly wasn't in the script. Phillips over this free kick. It's good 36 yards from goal. But it is a chance to cause a few problems for Arsenal if the delivery from the on-loan midfielder is on point. Ipswich attacking the goal off to our right-hand side. Their supporters behind it. What they'd give for an equaliser at the Emirates. It's Phillips who puts it into a dangerous area, headed away by Rice. Town have won their first corner.
Yeah, it was a wonderful ball by Phillips. You know, their line was about 20 yards out. It was well outside the penalty area, 2 yards outside the penalty area. A lot of room to put the ball in there without actually putting it into the goalkeeper. And Phillips hit a perfect ball in there. It was an Arsenal player that got to it first, but it could so easily have been a blue-shirted player.
This is a chance for Ipswich Town, a set piece. It's their first corner kick of the game after 59 minutes. Plenty tall players forward for Davis to hopefully hit. He didn't hit the man in the near push. Jesus heads it away comfortably without his feet leaving the ground. Wolfenden belts it forward for Ipswich Town, headed back to his goalkeeper by Timber. Calmness personified by the Dutchman. Actually, it was the youngster. It was Miles Lewis Skelly who'd switched sides from that set piece. He's had a very good game. Saw an excellent left back at the weekend in Lewis Hall. Another good one out there in a red shirt at Arsenal. It's had a good game. Ødegaard far side. Infield he comes. Back it goes to centre half. And Arsenal building from midfield. Rice to the far side and Timber. Of course, that spell from Ipswich Town might have woken Arsenal up somewhat. It's a reminder that they potentially need a second goal to win this game. Still just 1-0 to the Gunners. Short tippy-tappy one-touch stuff far side involving Havertz and Ødegaard. Ødegaard eventually injects a bit of pace into proceedings, but the ball ultimately goes back to the halfway line. Saliba to Gabriel. First time forward, it's loose from Gabriel. Phillips' header tries to find Delap in the centre of the field. Arsenal win it back, but lose it. Well done by Hutchinson. He's got a runner through the middle. It's the unlikely Calvin Phillips as a central striker, but the ball's away from him. Gabriel's going to try and see it out behind, which he manages to do. Goal kick Arsenal.
He was fortunate he was able to usher that ball out. He started to usher the ball too far. It still had about 8 or 9 yards to run to the byline, and Phillips was very quick in there, and he actually made the run around the player. He's impeded here for me. You know, Saliba has completely left the ball, you know, Gabriel rather. He's left the ball and dealt with the player. You know, the ball is what the game is all about. The referee should recognise things like that.
Referee just calming down. A little set two between Phillips and Lewis Skelly. Nothing doing there. Play continues with a Raya goal kick. Still just 1-0, 61 minutes played. Pretty much all of us would have taken that heading into this 8:15 kick-off, I'm pretty certain. Particularly after the way the weekend went. Town still in it. Saliba to Gabriel, now Ødegaard down the left-hand side. Arsenal moving it. Trossard infield to Ødegaard, into the box to Havertz. Things opening up. Fans stand up into the middle. It comes blocked off by Wolfenden. Arsenal's first corner of the half.
Yeah, it was a decent move by Arsenal, but generally speaking, I don't think Arsenal are playing particularly well. They're having a lot of the ball, but they're not, you know, a fearsome side.
No, I agree. Newcastle were a better team at the weekend. It's the corner kick to Arsenal. We did get through Ipswich Town there, but they haven't done it very often, it has to be said, over the course of this game. Miles ahead on possession, miles ahead on passes, touches in the opposition area, all those kind of things, but the only stat that really counts come close of play is the scoreline, and that's still very, very tight. Just the 1-0 to Arsenal. Corner kick to Arsenal. A few flashbulbs go off to our left-hand side, and it comes from Rice to the far post, headed down and over. Looked easier to score when the player flinging himself in was Gabriel.
Yeah, it's amazing. They have this massive 5 at the back to start with. They start the runs at the back, but the man that always heads the ball actually comes from a very central position, quite close to the edge of the box. He's the one.
It's an unbelievable miss. What a let-off for Ipswich
big miss,
Town.
and he's the target, and it's every time. Everybody concerns themselves with this block of 5 that are just beyond the far post. It's the one that peels right round the outside of that block of 5 that is the danger.
I agree, the best chance of the night. Real let-off for Ipswich Town. Town have the ball with Creeves up to the halfway line in Kiyuste. A little bit of space in midfield now. He plays it to the right and O'Shea. Now Ben Johnson. Infield, he gives it to Calvin Phillips. 1 or 2 boos after his little altercation with Lewis Skelly of a few moments ago. 18 gone in the second half. Have your say afterwards on BBC Radio Suffolk. Call 0800 141 2121 or text 81333. Start those messages, SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Again, start those SFK. Full match commentary of Town against Chelsea to come on Monday night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ball out from Muric, finds Kiyuste Kiyuste in turn finds Phillips. Now Phillips has given the ball to Hutchinson. Hutchinson towards the edge of the area, blocked off by Timber. Trossard. Arsenal passing it around this time in and around their defensive third. Finally Gabriel's on the box inside his area. Maybe hoping that missed opportunity doesn't count for anything in the final reckoning. Ødegaard brought down by Davis from behind. Free kick to Arsenal. Did miss a fair bit of football earlier on this season because of an injury. Ødegaard.
Murray Hutchinson's got plenty of the ball in this half, but he's actually not run the ball into the areas that he's comfortable at being in, and his touch is not quite there, and he's sort of being dispossessed. I wouldn't say easily, but certainly fairly easily, and it's unusual for him to be dispossessed when he is in full flight and he's in control of the ball.
Yellow card for Leith Davis, as again guest of honour here tonight. Santi Cazorla's picked out by the camera operatives. Former Arsenal player, of course. It's now, I read somewhere, he's 40 now. He's a great player when he's here, and he's still playing at a good level in his native Spain, but he had an interview pre-match on the pitch. Break and play because of this injury to Ødegaard, which was caused by Davis, which has allowed the Ipswich Town players to come across near side and take on board some refreshment and some words of wisdom from Kieran McKenna. I mentioned Chelsea on Monday. After that, Ipswich Town start a little run of Sunday games. More West London opponents after Chelsea. Town's next away trip is at Fulham. I love a little trip to Craven Cottage down by the Thames. That's a week on Sunday. The following weekend, Town at home to Bristol Rovers in round 3 of the FA Cup. After that, a random Thursday night game at home to Brighton. That's another Sunday visit game when Manchester City come to Portman Road. They're still in an awful run of form. Pep Guardiola's side, a draw for them yesterday against Everton. They put together a little run, Everton, considering they've played Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester City to get 3 points, 3 draws from those games. It's edged their way a little bit further from the drop zone. Play back to get back underway here at the Emirates. A free kick which David Raya is going to be taken, approaching the final quarter of this match. Nathan Broadhead jogs back towards the away dugout. I can still see Jack Taylor, Ali Al-Hamadi and Connor Chaplin in their yellow bibs way off to our left-hand side. Raya's kick over the halfway line for Arsenal, headed on by Havertz, still the only goal scorer in this game. Cleared by Town towards Timber. Havertz brings it down on his right thigh. Arsenal with Timber once more, ball into the Ipswich area, blocked off by Greaves, then he takes a nudge. Phillips pushes it out towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson held up by Phillips, has to go back to O'Shea. He stands in front of right back. Hutchinson with a little layoff back to Wolfenden. Now Murrich inside his penalty area. Quick kick from him, but it's away from Davis. Outside fast, outside, and it's gone out of play for a throw to Arsenal. Over on the far side of the field, Mikel Arteta's found something amusing anyway. Big smiley look on his face. Gabriel. The Arsenal fans getting behind their team, desperate for a second goal, which would probably make certain they're going second in the table heading into the final round of fixtures of the calendar year. The next game's against Brentford on New Year's Day. They've got a little bit longer to wait compared to most teams. Pretty much everybody else plays either Sunday or Monday. O'Shea to Johnson, has his pocket picked by Trossard. Trossard runs into the centre of the pitch, out to the far side, the Arsenal right, and Timber. Arsenal in field, well won by Kayuste. There is Calvin Phillips, gives the ball to Davis. Davis towards Kayuste. Nice change of direction. He's done well in there. One of the better Ipswich Town players tonight, Jens Kayuste. Hutchinson back to Phillips. The minutes will do this man the world of good. Looks like might be a change from the Ipswich Town bench. And it's Jack Clark with a haircut. I was trying to think who that was until I saw the number 47. He's had quite a trim. Ball goes back to O'Shea. Hutchinson, it's all inside the Ipswich Town half of the field. Town have it with Greaves. Drills the ball across the grass to Davis. Down the line, Davis gets it back. Town on halfway with Kayuste. Johnson wants the diagonal. It comes. Well spotted by Kayuste. Controlled by Johnson. Overlapping in front of him is O'Shea. He goes back though to Phillips. 69 minutes gone. Jack Clark about to come on. Greaves to the far side. Davis. Davis comes in field. Back it goes to Kayuste in the centre of the Arsenal half. Square he finds Phillips. Town still very much alive. Don't rule it out. Wolfenden to Phillips. Back to Wolfenden in the centre circle. Arsenal happy for Ipswich Town to have the ball, particularly when they're going back towards the halfway line. Greaves goes down by Martinelli. Wolfenden to Greaves. Back it goes to Murrich. Kieran McKenna. His arm around Jack Clark, having a long chat. Phillips goes long towards Delap. Delap's going to battle for the ball. He's going to get on it ahead of Saliba. Delap trying to get in the area. Saliba's done very well in the end. Turns off the deck, passes it to Rice. Good defending again from the Frenchman. Hutchinson trips Timber. Free kick.
Much better from Town. We just we seem as if we believe in ourselves a little bit more, and when we get possession we're sort of prepared to keep it and go around the pitch, up the pitch, back to the goalkeeper if necessary. But there's something happening with the Arsenal team. They're dying on their feet. They really are. You know, they haven't got any great individual in their team that can really give them a spark.
Smodix comes off to be replaced by Jack Clark. The change for Arsenal is Gabriel Jesus going off to be replaced by midfielder Mikel Merino is coming on, another Spaniard. So one would have thought the Havertz will go into the central striking role, with Merino got a loan spell at Newcastle United a few years ago. Also been at Borussia Dortmund in the past, actually played every game for Spain at their successful Euro 2024 tournament this summer. And quite bigged up by the voice on the PA system anyway. So their first change for both of these clubs. Let's see what Jack Clark can do for Ipswich Town. Maybe this is the night when he makes a goal-scoring impact for the first time this season. Merino wins his first header, belted away by O'Shea into the 72nd minute of this match. Havertz's goal separates the two sides. Still just 1-0 to Arsenal. Phillips. It's Rice now for Arsenal to the far side. Ødegaard in field, controlled by Timber to Havertz. Martinelli's in the central area, so too Marino. Ødegaard bursting into Ipswich Town area. What a run from him. Still inside the box. Ødegaard! That would have been some goal. He got the shot away himself as well, but it's whizzed over the bar.
Yeah, it was a good run, but didn't we back off a little bit too much, really, and just gave him more room than what he ever believed he would have had, you know, and in the end he blazes for me over the bar. I didn't think it touched anybody, but obviously
Greaves,
it did.
I think. Corner kick to Arsenal. Off to our left-hand side. We've got about 17.5 minutes to go in this game. And Town still in it, albeit we know how threatening Arsenal are from these corner kicks. Haven't scored yet in this game, but they should have done earlier on. Gabriel wasted a chance. Arsenal, the usual routine for this corner kick. 5 players beyond the far post. It's going to be knocked into the box. Off to our left-hand side for Captain Ødegaard to knock it in towards Rice. Oh, what a shot, blocked off and away. What a goal that would have been on the volley from Declan Rice. He hit it beautifully well, couldn't have caught it any better on the volley from the corner. Town just had bodies back that did their job. Here come Arsenal again, looking for a second goal to kill off this match. Outside the Ipswich area, in comes the cross, out it goes. Another corner kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, well, that was their other one where they hit the central player, Rice, you know, who's on the edge of the box. His strike is a really good one, but we deal with it. But it's amazing. Again, the 5 players that take up that position beyond the back post are not involved.
That was Dara O'Shea who got himself in the way of that one. We keep seeing a replay of it. Good block by the captain. Corner kick number 5 of the game to Arsenal. Desperately keen to get a second goal and wrap up 3 points, which would take them back up to second in the Premier League table. Ødegaard with a left-footed delivery. Into the middle it comes, headed away by O'Shea. Ball still in the Ipswich area. It's recycled out to the right-hand side. Ødegaard gets in the box, drops his shoulder, gets to the byline. Well dealt with by Ipswich. It's Jens Kajustadis back defending. His clearance, sadly, goes straight to Saliba. Arsenal coming again. Suns have had a bit of a second wind. Arsenal to Marino. Marino dinks the ball into the box, headed centrally. Must be a goal, not quite. Well done, Aro Muric. It's out of play this time off an Arsenal player for a goal kick.
They've made a couple of substitutions, and since the substitutions were made, you know, they've just got a little bit of momentum, Arsenal, and we've just got to see this spell away. And then we were actually ourselves playing our best football of the game. So this is just a little bit of pressure. Make sure you don't concede, and we will still have a little chance to nick a goal and maybe get a result as well.
15 minutes exactly to go on BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. Still 1-0 to Arsenal. Here comes Aro Muric with this goal kick straight out of play into the hands of Mikel Arteta. Not what was required. Throw for Arsenal. Lewis Skelly gets it back towards Gabriel, who in turn finds his goalkeeper Raya. Trying to keep that club record, 23rd clean sheet in his first 50 Premier League appearances, beating the record of 22 from David Seaman. Norwich 12 years ago, the last first-time visitors to the Emirates to get something from a league fixture here. Only 2 teams have won here on their first visit, West Ham and Hull in the dim and distant past. That was actually a 3-3 draw for Norwich back in May 2012. Town at the moment on the wrong end of this scoreline. Here come Arsenal inside the Ipswich area. Marino the sub, shoot saved by Muric, and it's going to come out as far as Lewis Skelly in the Ipswich area, just outside the box. Nobody there to follow up that initial effort. Ødegaard for Arsenal comes in field centrally, shoots right-footed, but it was always swinging away from that top right corner. Broadhead about to come on for Ipswich by the looks of things.
Yeah, this is Arsenal's little spell, but I mean that's a shot from a sort of not a very particularly good position. You've got to encourage things like that. The goalkeeper's done very well on it, and just got to get through this spell, you know. And then because we had been playing well just prior to this,
Well, Jack Taylor's coming on as well. Looks like he's taken off his tracksuit bottoms down below us. Broadhead's ready quite clearly for action. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Town still 1-0 down. Wolfenden forward towards Delap, headed to the halfway line by Timber. Picked up by Davis. Davis down that far touchline to Delap. Nobody to hit in the centre. Might keep going alone. He's certainly got the ability and the confidence. Poor pass from Delap, intercepted easily by a red shirt. Arsenal have it with Trossard. Trossard plays it back into his area. And Gabriel, 12 and a half to go of normal time at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal have the ball, the only goal of the game. Ødegaard on the halfway line, passes it forward, controlled by Marino. He's had a few touches since he came on. Looks to be getting into advanced areas. Yes, Taylor is coming on for Town. A double change from Kieran McKenna. Trossard. Eventually it's Rice on the ball. Does strike a ball very cleanly, Declan Rice. Seen that a couple of times in this game. It's a good goal he scored at the weekend as well against Palace in that win. Another victory for Arsenal, extending this unbeaten run to at least 17 games in all competitions. Arsenal on the right, outside the Ipswich area, ball into the box. Arsenal have it, hands go up, appealing for an offside. It's going to be a triple change from Town. Al Hamidi is going to get some minutes at the Emirates. Jack Clark brings the ball away for Ipswich Town, up to the halfway line. Very little in terms of support. He's done well into the centre. Hutchinson goes back to Phillips. Arsenal have a man down far side. Now the referees stop play and signal that he's concerned about it being a head injury to Martin Ødegaard on the far side of the field.
Yeah, we came out of play, out of defence really nicely there with Jack Clark, sort of looking pretty useful on the ball and getting himself some freedom, and we were about to work the ball over to this right-hand side when the referee decided to stop the game. But we certainly, this half, we seem to be able to come out better than we did in the first half.
Kieran McKenna giving some one-to-one tuition in the direction of Mari Hutchinson. Pick on the changes for Town. Kayuste goes off to be replaced by Taylor. Johnson is going off to be replaced by Broadhead. Interesting stuff. And Al Hamidi is coming on for Liam Delap, who's now at 6 games without a goal. They'll come again for him, no doubt. So interesting changes for Ipswich Town. Most of all, Broadhead for Johnson. Let's see what develops in this final 10 minutes plus added on time. At least Town are still in this. O'Shea back in field to Wolfenden. Hutchinson's drifted across the right-hand side where Johnson has been playing. Broadhead is central. Al Hamidi obviously is through the middle. Crossfield ball hit towards Hutchinson in space, onside, wide right, outside the Arsenal area. Town have got to make something of this situation. He's up against Lewis Skelly. Hutchinson feigned the cross, instead goes back to O'Shea. Hutchinson, his touch lets him down. The home crowd loved that. We certainly didn't. That was really disappointing.
Yeah. Amari, if he believed in himself, he can take Skelly. There's no problem. He's a good player, but he looks as if he's sort of feels inferior to the guy he's playing against. He doesn't look confident. I never fancied him to go past Skelly at all there, but he's been past better players than Skelly, believe you me.
36 played in the second half. Still this narrow 1-0 lead held by Arsenal. Martinelli's on the ball, lots of work to be done. He's so quick though. He's burst down the left-hand side outside the Ipswich Town area by the corner flag, way in the corner. Fouled, is he, by O'Shea? Yes, says the referee. It's a free kick to Arsenal, very close to the corner flag on this near side. Well, the clock ticking down. Let's see if Town can see this set piece away. So close to being a corner kick that I would imagine Arsenal will do their usual corner kick routine. It's only about 3 yards in from the flag off to our left-hand side. Declan Rice is over it. He's just waved Leandro Trossard away.
Yeah, it's definitely just work it as a corner. It's pretty much it's just about 3 yards in from the corner position.
Corner, free kick to Arsenal. Rice to take it. He's going to be knocking it into the town box off to our left. Looks good. Good hands from Muric, pretty much on his goal line. Well done.
Yeah, it was good. Right underneath the crossbar, so he's done well when he was under pressure as well.
Hutchinson back to O'Shea inside his area. Hutchinson at right back, being booed by a few Arsenal fans. Cleared away by Muric up towards halfway. Clark tries to flick on, gets it to Al-Hamadi, who's now played against all the big boys in the Premier League. Ali Al-Hamadi on the left-hand side. Davis, back come Arsenal. They'll be fearing a sucker punch in this game. Not just the fans that we talked about earlier on, but also the players out there as well. Funnier things have happened. Hutchinson shapes across, holds on to it, gives it to Broadhead. He did well when he came on against Newcastle the other day. Nathan Broadhead looked the part. Wolfenden to Greaves. On watches Kieran McKenna, calm and collected. Thomas Partey, midfield enforcer, about to come on for Arsenal, the number 5. The one change that was the choice of Mikel Arteta before the game, to replace him with Rice. Had to replace the injured Saka. Hutchinson to Broadhead. Back it goes to O'Shea. Final 7 minutes. There's Broadhead once again, a goal scorer here in the past for Sunderland just over 3 years ago in a League Cup quarter-final. Nathan Broadhead. Come on, Ipswich is the chant from the away fans. Davis up towards Al-Hamadi. The ball finds its way to Broadhead. Broadhead turns, faces the Arsenal backline. Hutchinson's making a run. Broadhead's held on to the ball. Back it goes to Phillips. Square to Greaves. Approaching the final 6 minutes. Town have the ball wide left outside the Arsenal area. Jack Clark coming in field. Still has the ball. Loses it though. Arsenal get it away to Martinelli. Switching on the turbos. Jack Clark's gone after him. Martinelli still has the ball. Incredibly, he's done ever so well there. Really good play from Martinelli.
He should have taken it off him there.
Should have, shouldn't he? Back for Arsenal to Timber. And Tottenham and Brentford have scored more home goals than Arsenal this season, but so far tonight, just the one for them. Most people thought they were expecting them to score more in this game, but Town are still alive and kicking as we're into the 85th minute. Arsenal could do the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool and Nottingham Forest a huge favour, and of course most importantly themselves, by getting something from this game. Arsenal passing it around inside their half of the field. Kieran McKenna's thoughts hopefully on air before we shut down for the night. 0800 141 2121 is the phone number to chat and have an at with Graham and Mick, or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. Jack Clark's taking a tumble. Ødegaard to the right, and Havertz infield to Ødegaard once again. Arsenal attacking the goal off to our left-hand side. Here is Havertz, the match winner as things stand. Arsenal with Lewis Kelly out to the left-hand side, and Trossard just outside the Ipswich area. Tries to go to the byline. Hutchinson does a good defensive job on him. It's a goal kick to Aru Muric. Here comes Thomas Partey, and he will replace Declan Rice, who's just short on match fitness. Mikel Arteta not want to be taking any chances with his £100 million signing. Off he comes, and on will come Thomas Partey. Versatile character, has played right back this season, has played centre back this season as well. Former Atletico Madrid midfielder, played in the Champions League final for them against Real back in the day. He's just going to effectively almost become a third centre half. He's certainly going to help protect Saliba and Gabriel as Arsenal try and see this game out. 3.5 minutes to go. Ball given away by Arsenal, controlled by Ali Al-Hamidi, blocked off by Lewis Skelly. The ball has been picked up by Broadhead, now by Taylor. Not convincing from Arsenal, good from Ipswich. Ball to the left-hand side, Davis inside the Arsenal area. Still has it to a point, Timber wrestling with him. And then eventually the referee has given his decision the way of Arsenal.
Yeah, should have done better. It was a terrific attack, and we picked up a lot of loose balls there, and we had good momentum, and Leaf has just not quite done the right thing.
Sadly not. Free kick behind right back to Arsenal. Will be taken by Raya. We have, 2.5 minutes of normal time to go, a little bit more. Plenty people disappearing off. Cleared forward by Raya. None of the away fans will be. Not want to miss a potentially massive goal for their side. Ball out far side for a throw to Ipswich Town. One would imagine Kieran McCall will be fairly happy with what he's seen from his team tonight, after the Newcastle game at the weekend. Davis with a throw infield towards Broadhead. Broadhead's touch picks out Phillips. The referee seeing something he's unhappy with. Is it a foul throw? It's an Arsenal ball far side anyway, as we're seeing a repeat of the only goal of the game so far. Havertz volleying in after 23 minutes. And look like they're going to make a change. Harry Clark, former Arsenal player, of course, back at the Emirates. Nice moment for him. He's coming on. Never made the breakthrough here. Several loan spells away from the club that signed him from Ipswich Town. I think Harry was only 15 in his initial spell at Portman Road. Broadhead turns away from a couple of players. Lovely play from Broadhead. That's beautiful, real quality, running with the ball. Now to the left-hand side, Clark. Inside the Arsenal area, Jack Clark still got the ball. Away from goal, back to goal, outside the box, comes to Phillips. Phillips out to the right-hand side, and Dara O'Shea. Town have got players forward, posing a threat. Final 90 seconds. Everybody from an Arsenal perspective behind the ball. It's not comfortable viewing for Mikel Arteta and the Gunners fans, who are now trying to react. Wolfenden to Greaves. Ipswich Town believe they can get something from this game, and why not? Jack Clark on the far touchline. Back it goes to Greaves. Coming forward, having a shot is Taylor. Blocked into the Arsenal area. Lewis Skelly gets it up and away. As far as Phillips. Phillips's header goes to the right-hand side. Nodded down by Hutchinson. Final minute of the 90. Ipswich Town get a dramatic equaliser. Hutchinson on the right-hand side, the former Arsenal player. Comes infield. What's his cross like? It's towards the far stick. Raya catches it and then drops on the ball.
Yeah, we've sort of grown in a little bit of confidence. I think Arsenal have been disappointing this half, and they've only had patches of good play. But because of that, we've sort of, decided that we can come out, we can play, and we can keep the ball, and we're doing that and looking much, much better.
Henry Clark's going to be coming on for. It's the kick from Raya over the halfway line. And if it will be for Mari Hutchinson. 4 minutes of added on time to be played. Are we going to see some late drama? Arsenal on the right with Martinelli. Blocked off over in the far left corner by a challenge from Leif Davis. Here comes the change. Clark coming on for Wolfenden.
Ipswich Town substitution number 6, Luke Wolfenden.
Interesting call. And it's another former Arsenal player along with Amari Hutchinson's going to end this game out there for Ipswich Town. Nice to see Luke Wolfenden back and involved. He'll be pleased with that. Haven't done anything wrong. Throw into Arsenal outside the Ipswich penalty area. 3 minutes to go in this game. Back-to-back defeats for Ipswich Town as things stand. Arsenal have the ball wide left. It's eventually out, is it? No, cleared away by Ipswich before the corner kick. Al-Hamidi nods it back, actually to Arsenal. Havertz going to go towards the corner flag over in the far corner of the Emirates Stadium, battling for the ball, gets it out of that space. Arsenal still have it, trying to cross into the Ipswich area. Arsenal have the ball deep inside Ipswich Town territory. Now they get it back to the halfway line after a bit of pressure from Ipswich. Into the second minute of the added on 4. Raya pings it past the far side. Havertz heads it to Martinelli. Havertz brings it down, waits, gives it to Martinelli by the dead ball line. Now, by the corner flag, far left corner, the end that Ipswich Town are defending. Sadly, Arsenal have the ball. Back it goes. Arsenal lose the ball. Well intercepted by Jack Clark. Clark goes forward to Al-Hamadi, just away from him.
Unlucky, a decent ball.
It was, wasn't it?
Decent ball. He's only got to do something. He's got to make a quick decision. He thought that he could get it to Al-Hamadi, but just not quite on target. And these two centre-halves will mop up anything, you know, that's slightly
very good.
sort of misplaced.
We're at the midway point of the added-on 4 minutes now. Kicked by Raya, headed down by Havertz. Phillips is on the ball for Ipswich Town. Belted away by Davis. Greaves has been upended. He's stood down, holding his throat, Jacob Greaves. Now, thankfully, sitting up. He's going to be all right. It was the loose elbow there of Havertz, totally accidental. Crossed him across the Adam's apple. The two players now chatting to one another. In a fairly amicable fashion. So Arsenal heading second in the Premier League with this latest victory for them. Latest clean sheet as well. Unless Muric, forward for Ipswich Town, headed away by Gabriel. See why he and Saliba are so highly regarded. Clark finds Hutchinson. Hutchinson skips in between a couple of players, then finds Broadhead. Broadhead back towards Hutchinson. Infield to Taylor. Taylor prods it up to Al-Hamadi. Arsenal get the ball away. A couple of Town players down. Martinelli can break. In slides Davis. Luckily didn't catch him. Martinelli might go it alone. Ooh, that could have easily been a second yellow for Leif Davis. That would have been madness. Thankfully, Martinelli was too quick. Here comes Jack Clark. Town still in this game. Final minute of the added-on 4. What a dramatic equaliser this would be. Town passing it around. Not much between the two sides at the moment. There is to be a second goal. You wouldn't bet which way it's going to go. Is the time. Broadhead. Back to Clark. Clark in field finds Phillips. Phillips out to the left-hand side. Final chance for Ipswich Town. Outside the box, it's Greaves who's up there. Back to Leif Davis. Town have got to get the ball into the box off to our right-hand side. Final few seconds of this added on 4 minutes. The referee's looked at his watch. The ball has to go into the area from Amari Hutchinson. Nothing to lose. Infield it goes. Broadhead inside the area. Still Nathan Broadhead. A chance to shoot left-footed. Deflected. Doesn't drop down. Al-Hamadi into the back of Lewis Skelly. Free kick. And that might well be that. I fancied Broadhead there on his left-hand side when he came in.
He's looked good, Broadhead.
The referee,
I think he's
checking something. He's put his hand to his right ear. Doesn't seem to be for any kind of handball penalty decision. Full time at the Emirates Stadium. It's another defeat for Ipswich Town, but no disgrace in losing 1-0 at second placed Arsenal. That's the way it's finished as Ipswich Town round off their away campaign for 2024 with a second successive Christmas defeat.
Yeah, well, I think we've sort of approached the game with sort of slightly different sort of system than we normally play, and for me we only sort of got half of it right. There was a lot of players out there in the first half that I watching, I'm thinking, you don't quite know what you've been asked to do, and they were in between things, and it led to this domination from Arsenal. And as far as Arsenal are concerned, the first half went absolutely to plan. They dominated the ball, they bided their time, they got one chance, took it, they went into the dressing room 1-0 up, and they would have been totally and utterly satisfied with that, because sometimes it's so easy to do better than what they had done. So 1-0 half-time, Arsenal happy, Town not so sort of happy with how they were playing. Basically they were just not quite right. Second half they came out, and I think it was a little bit that we maybe got a little bit more belief in ourselves, but certainly Arsenal for me, apart from maybe a couple of 5-minute pockets, Arsenal deteriorated and looked not a particularly good side. I thought in the end their best players were their power players, and that's the two centre-halves and Declan Rice. when you were looking for technical ability from a team that a lot of people, including myself, thought might be champions this year, you're looking for a little bit more technical ability from individuals. And I don't think it was there. I think they've missed Xhaka tremendously, and consequently I don't think they performed in the second half, and it gave us some confidence, and then we played the ball out much better and worked the ball up the pitch better. What we weren't able to do in that second half period was create one little opportunity, one little half chance that might have sort of gave us the opportunity to maybe sort of get that little point that we were after, you know. But in the end, people would say, oh, it was 1-0, you know, Ipswich never bothered. But it wasn't a game of two halves. I think Arsenal satisfied with their performance first half, will be disappointed with what they did in the second half. We will be pleased the fact that we improved into the second half and have only lost 1-0, if you like. You know, it's not easy to say that teams can be satisfied with losing, but I think a lot of people expected a different scoreline to this.
Would you like to see Nathan Broadhead make a start? I mean, he caught the eye on Saturday, and you sounded to be as if you were quite complimentary what you saw from that cameo.
Yeah, straight away, as soon as players sort of take the stage, you can see whether they're comfortable in what they're doing or whether they're not comfortable in what they're doing. And from what I saw in the brief appearance that he made in the last game against Newcastle and this one, he looks as if he's comfortable at this level. And I think he's probably our best left-sided player out of the three. We've got three that sort of vie for that position, Smodic, Clark and Broadhead, and I think Broadhead might be the one that they will ultimately turn to. He's got so much quality, and as I say, he wasn't a bit overawed coming on the pitch on Saturday or coming on the pitch today. I think he's worthy of a start.
And in terms of this system, would you like to see Town go with it again on Monday against Chelsea?
It's difficult to say. I think there were some in the team that didn't really seriously know what they're doing, and I think Ben Johnson was one of them. I think Sammy Smodic was another, and I think Amari Hutchinson was frustrated with it. And the two midfield players maybe tried to track people a little bit too much, should have held their position better. It wasn't so much, you know, where Leif Davis, I think he enjoyed it. It meant that he was 1-to-1 against Martinelli and he was comfortable. I think the three centre-backs enjoyed it. Particularly Wolfenden loved it. You know, he sort of had a lot of free ball, particularly in the second half. I think those three could make a go of it, and that includes Cameron Burgess as well. Any three from those four could make a go of it. The right side has got to do better, and the forward part of the left side has got to do better. But you throw systems at people, and it's not always immediate that everybody gets the gist of it. And that's what I feel tonight, that some straight away were more comfortable. There weren't so many holes, and that's the plus point tonight. I didn't see all the holes in like when we play with the back four with Leif Davis marauding off, lots of gaps. Tonight there wasn't so many gaps, and that's what Arsenal found really difficult early in the game. They couldn't find a gap, and they were fortunate that Trossard managed to get slightly down the outside, and that ball into the 6-yard box found Declan Rice when it shouldn't have done. But the actual threading of a ball through our back line wasn't there tonight, which gives me hope that maybe we could have fallen onto a good system.
Ultimately, though, Ipswich Town will head into 2025 in the Premier League's relegation zone after back-to-back defeats to Newcastle at the weekend and then 1-0 here to Arsenal tonight at the Emirates. Kieran McKenna's thoughts on the way.